By incorporating modularity into the design of its new land port of entry facilities through a multidisciplinary and integrated design process, U.S. Customs and Border Protection was able to create easily adaptable facilities that can more easily evolve to the changing needs of the mission. Here, Trent Frazier, Director of the Field Operations Facilities Program Management Office, discusses some of the strategies they employed.
It's really key that from the very outset of a project, you develop a project team that reflects not only the initial stages of the project, but the entire life cycle of that facility through completion and ultimately even through disposal. And we did that very early on. We had representatives from 3 federal agencies who participated. We had multiple private sector developmental firms, design firms, all brought together in a multidisciplinary teaming approach that allowed us to think about building a building not just for the day after it's finished, but for 20 years after it's finished, because we know we have to operate in those environments. And again, with that focus on how our staff, how the people who man those locations will have to operate 20 years into the future, we wanted to think about that into the design of the facility. So part of what we were thinking about is, well, how will the facility evolve over time? How will it have to be renovated? How will it need to have certain measures of modularity built into it so that as technology is changing, as missions are evolving, the facility can literally change shape to match those things. And so we built that in very early on, but that takes a multidisciplinary approach, a lot of opinions, a lot of ideas flowing into the development of that structure. One of the simplest and probably the most common examples is don't bury your major building systems behind drywall or behind masonry, for example. Think carefully about the placement of your electrical, of your technology, of your plumbing, how those things have to be developed and evolved, even down to your furniture systems. Those are all things that you want built in a certain way so that over time, as the building needs to change, you can readily change the building without having to fundamentally change the structure of the building itself. And so we thought very carefully about that. A lot of our buildings utilize exterior surfaces to perform parts of their mission. So we have cars who are constantly driving around within the facility itself, and there's technology embedded throughout that area. We didn't want to bury the power lines for any of that technology below the surface itself. We actually built conduit that could be removed readily and utilized readily over time, so that as a new piece of technology or as an old piece of technology is removed and new technology installed, all you're doing is opening a conduit to do the installation. So thinking carefully about how that modularity needs to be designed is key to making a building that can, I like to say, live for a generation or more, because really that's what buildings have to do. They're functionally organic. They evolve over time as we evolve over time.
To learn more about the 2014 FMXcellence winners, check out the August cover story in Building Operating Management magazine. And for Building Operating Management, this has been Naomi Mijan, Senior Editor. Thanks for watching.